Okay. So, welcome students, welcome to lecture number 40, where we'll be covering module number 6 under subject Financial Management. So, students, we have already covered this particular module, module 6, where we have seen the theory as well as the problems on leverages, EBIT and EPS analysis. So, we were just left with one last problem on EBIT and EPS analysis and a combination of leverages. So today we will be continuing with EBIT and EPS analysis. So before we, come down to that problem, we'll just quickly revise what is EBIT and EPS analysis. This is an important tool for analyzing the capital structure of a firm, which includes both debt as well as equity mix in different proportions. So this particular analysis will help us in understanding what is the impact of financial leverage under different financial plans. Okay, this analysis helps in selecting an appropriate financial plan by finding the highest value of EPS. So under EBIT and EPS analysis, what do? You have several options or several financial plans or several capital structures which the company wants or uses or wants to use in raising the funds. So we have to recommend the company that particular capital structure or that particular financial plan which has the highest EPS. Now, how do we calculate EPS? EPS is nothing but EBIT less interest, you get EBT less tax, you get EAT less preference dividend, you get earnings available to equity shareholders, the number of equity shares. Once you know what are the number of equity shares, you get earnings per share by earnings available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. You get earnings per share. So students, can anyone tell me how do we reach up to EBIT? How do we reach up to EBIT? From where does the actual calculation from starts where we reach up to EBIT, students? Yes, students. Students, how EBIT is calculated? Can anyone just help me? Yes. We are in the last part of this module. Today it will get over. So by now you should know how do we reach up to EBIT, students? Yes. Anyone wants to answer this? Yes. Students, are you all there? Anyone wants to try? I will just help you all. Sales minus variable cost. What do you get? Sales minus variable. From sales, when you minus the variable cost, what do you get?
Contribution.
From contribution, when you less fixed cost, what do you get?
EBIT.
So exactly my question here was, how do we get this EBIT? So you'll have to start your answer with sales minus variable cost. We get contribution minus fixed cost. We get EBIT. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Now let us solve a single problem which we had left in a previous session because of shortage of time. So let us go to that problem. Okay, this is a problem from previous year question paper 2017. So a selected financial data for ABC companies for the current year 31st March are as follows. Particulars ABC, variable expenses as a percentage of sales 66.67, 75 and 50%. So this is nothing but variable expenses as a percentage of sales. Suppose if sale is 100%, so variable expenses will be 66.67% of rupees 100. Okay, so variable cost ratio percentage to sales is this. Interest expenses is 200, 300,000. This interest expenses is nothing but, students, your after EBIT you minus your interest, that is you minus financial cost. This is that interest expense. Operating leverage is given 5:1, 6:1 and 2:1. Financial leverage is given 3:1, 4:1 and 2:1. Income tax is given 35%, 35%, 35%. They're telling you to prepare the income statement for ABC. So obviously income statements will have your income, your that revenue as well as your expenses or cost. So it starts with sales. income statements will start with sales. But what is the sales figure you're going to take here? Do you have the sales figure given? No, we do not have the sales figure given, but we have the answer for operating leverage and financial leverage. So using the formula for operating and financial leverage and substituting the figures, we will get the value of sales. So let us see the working note. See here, students. Here what it is given here is working note company A, B, C. So I do it for company A. On the same lines you have to do for company B and company C. So students, here that is degree of financial leverage. Okay, degree of financial leverage here is given as 3 times. So financial leverage is 3 times for company A. Okay, so we took here a degree of financial leverage. Now, what is the formula for calculating the financial leverage? It is nothing but EBIT divided by EBT. Students, if you remember in our previous lectures, what is the formula to calculate financial leverage? It is EBIT divided by EBT. See here, students, it is nothing but EBIT divided by EBT. Now, how do we get EBT? Can anyone tell me how do we get EBT? Yes, students, ignore this answers. Just pay attention on this, what is written here. How do we get EBT? Can anyone tell me? How do you arrive at EBT, earnings before tax? From EBIT, when you minus interest, you get EBT, correct? What is the formula for financial leverage? It is EBIT divided by EBT. Okay, so what we are going to do here is, see students, pay attention here. Here, the formula for financial leverage is EBIT divided by EBT. Now, EBT is nothing but EBIT minus interest is EBIT. Since we have to find out the missing figures, okay, we do not know what is EBT, but we know EBT is nothing but EBIT minus interest. So, what do we do? Whatever figures we have present, we will substitute in this particular formula. So we know degree of financial leverage for company A is 3. EBIT is unknown. Okay, we do not know EBIT, but we know interest cost. Interest cost is given here as 200 rupees in the problem. This is the problem. The interest expense for A is given as 200 rupees. So we have written minus 200. Now just solve this particular equation. How do you solve this? So bring this denominator EBIT minus 200 towards your left hand side. So it becomes multiplication. So 3 EBIT minus 3 into 200 is 600. So 3 EBIT minus 600 is nothing but EBIT. So now here EBIT and EBIT. So when you bring this EBIT on the left hand side, it becomes 2 EBIT minus is equals to 600. When you're getting minus 600 to your right hand side, it will become plus 600. Therefore, EBIT is nothing but 600 divided by 2, that is 300 rupees. So on the same lines, you have to solve it for company B and company C. You have to find out the EBIT first. Is this particular solving clear to everyone? First of all, you'll tell me this. See students, degree of financial leverage, what is the formula? EBIT divided by EBT. How do we calculate EBT? EBIT minus interest. Whatever information is there, this information was given in the problem 3. Interest expense we had 2. So we simply solved this particular formula. We got EBIT as 300. Now, is this clear to everyone? Is this working clear to everyone? Yes, students?
Yes,
Yes?
ma'am.
Okay. Next is we have to compute the sales. For that, we can use degree of operating leverage. Now, students, what is the formula for operating leverage? It is contribution divided by EBIT. So, see here, it is contribution divided by EBIT, and financial leverage was EBIT divided by EBT. And if you take combined leverage, it is contribution divided by EBT. But now only whichever formula is necessary, we will use only that. So operating leverage they have given as 5 times. Okay, 5 times is given here. 5 to 1 is nothing but 5 times. What is the formula for operating leverage? Contribution divided by EBIT. Now, how do we arrive at this contribution? Do we know the contribution in the problem? No, in the problem it is not given. Okay, but how do we arrive at this contribution? It is nothing but sales minus variable cost is your contribution. So, see in the working students, operating leverage is nothing but sales minus variable cost, which is nothing but your contribution divided by EBIT. So, this is the formula, contribution divided by EBIT. But you have taken, since you do not know the contribution, you have taken sales minus variable cost, which is in turn equal to your contribution. So your degree of operating leverage is 5, already given in the problem. Sales is unknown, so you have kept it as S, minus, variable cost. Variable cost is 66.67% of sales. So it will be 0.667 S, because if sales is 1 and a variable cost is 66.67% of sales, then your variable cost is 0.667 S divided by 300. Now when you solve this particular formula, that is, you have to take 300 into 5, you will get 1500. Okay, and then this is 1. If nothing is given in that particular this, that means it is 1s. So 1s minus 0.667, so that is nothing but 0.333. So when you divide 1500 with 0.333, you will get 4500. So this is your sales. Now what is variable cost? It is 66.67% of 4500, which is your sales. Therefore your variable cost is rupees 3000 rupees. So you have got your sales, you have got your variable cost. Okay, then you can easily get the answer. So see here students, 4500 is your sales, less variable cost 3000, you got contribution 1500, less fixed cost. Now students, EBIT. In through your working, you have found out your EBIT is 300. Okay, you know your contribution. When you know your contribution and when you know your EBIT, what is going to be your fixed cost? When you minus the contribution and EBIT, you will know the fixed cost. Here you have to find out the missing figures. Suppose contribution is given in this particular problem, we have done the working of contribution and EBIT, but we don't know what is fixed cost. But when you minus this two, you will get your fixed cost. Then from EBIT, when you less your interest, which is given in the problem 200, you get EBT, which is 100. From that, you have to less your tax at the rate of 35%. That is 100 into 35%, 35. So you get earnings after tax, which is 65. Your answer concludes here because they're just telling you to prepare the income statement. So your earnings after tax is 65. On the same lines, you have to do it for B and C. See students, again I'm repeating, if financial leverage is given, operating leverage is given. Use the formulas of financial leverage and operating leverage in order to find out the missing figure. Now for financial leverage formula, you will use in order to find out EBIT value. Once you know the EBIT value, you will use that, and through operating leverage formula, you will find out sales, and through sales, you will find out variable expenses. So with the help of these two formulas, you will find out the missing values, missing figures, and then you have to just plot it in the main answer. So how I solved it for A, on the same lines you have to solve it for B and C. There is absolutely no change in it. So is this clear students? Is this problem clear to everyone? Yes? Yes, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, students. We are done for the session for today. Thank you.